Great. Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate your message there. Next, we'd like to introduce a gentleman who has been a researcher, a freelance writer, a campaign manager for several candidates in Massachusetts. He is a political consultant and immigration activist, currently a field representative for FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform. FAIR has been fighting this fight for 40 years. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Hanen.
Well, greetings. So yeah, how about it for Diane and Jim and the 603 Alliance and all the people working hard behind the stage. I guess I'll have my PowerPoint going fairly shortly. We're working on it. Okay, well, I'll just go through it and try to be brief. So yeah, FAIR, we're a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit located in Washington, D.C. We've got about 2 million members. We've got a regular column in The Hill. We're getting a regular column in Daily Caller every couple weeks. We've testified before Congress about 100 times. You'll often see our president, Dan Stein, or our executive director, Bob Dane, on Fox News. So yeah, we stand for basic things like common sense immigration reform, having E-Verify, having a biometric exit entry ID so you know who's coming in and out of the country. Yeah, and trying to end chain migration, just have, you know, a husband and a spouse and their unmarried minor children come here and not have up to 30 people coming from a single person. And so, of course, we support building the wall. And we just want to have, we've got about 1 million people coming here legally every year since the year 2000. We've got about 1 million coming here illegally every year since the year 2000. And it is just too much too fast. That is about, we've got about 44 million foreign-born in the country right about now. And as, you know, the ICE estimates are about 11 to 13 million. You had the MIT study, that's about 22 million. And so we're at where we were in the golden age of immigration back in Ellis Island. We're at about that 14% of foreign born. And you know, don't let anyone ever tell you when you want to have sane, sensible, cost efficient, and safe, legal immigration, you know, you're going to hear all these bad names. You're a xenophobe, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. You know, that 1 million a year that come here legally, you would have to add the next 20 countries in the world with a path to citizenship, right? We've got that people on LPR stays with the green card, 1 million a year on average since 2000. Next 20 countries in the world, you'd have to add up. Likewise, guest worker programs, they're hard to compare apples to apples because they're different in every country, but we've got 20% of the world's guest workers. So we are the most generous immigration system by far. So, okay, we're going. And so I'll come back to this by way of conclusion because we need to save time. Excuse me, other way. So I was already talking about this and the way where we are with the 44 million foreign born and the 11 to 13 million conservative estimate, 3.6 to 3.9% of our population. So there are a lot of common sense arguments you can make against illegal immigration, right? It destroys the rule of law, right? We're a nation of laws, and you know, if you think about one of the great sub-themes of today, this American exceptionalism? Well, we give that just power, the just powers of Congress derived from the consent of the governed, and that Article 1, Section 8 power to determine who comes here legally, right? We gave that to our U.S. representatives. This is what the left is trying to take away with just open borders. And that would be just a horrible thing. And of course it is, as many have mentioned, it's their electoral strategy. They want to get a large amnesty and then be able to take over those larger states and own the presidency. But we're already there, folks. A lot of pundits estimate, if you look around, you've got California, New York, Florida, because the representation is based on not citizens, but on total population. It's estimated that Florida, California, and New York already get 15 to 16 extra U.S. representatives. And guess what that means? 15 to 16 electoral votes in the race for president. So, yeah, illegal immigration is a real threat to the rule of law. I mean, think about it. It just hits at the gut, right? Imagine any club you've ever been in, or imagine you had a fraternity or a sorority, right? The brothers or sisters, they have a rule-governed process. They decide who's coming here. Are they coming here legally? Or you decide who's coming, who's not coming. If someone just shows up, says, hey, I was at your fraternity party last night, now I'm a member, now I'm going to help you decide who's coming here. Right? You can see it's a contradiction. It destroys the club or the rule of law, and it is an act of political violence. Basic fairness to illegal immigrants. We got 5 million trying to come here legally from all around the world. Those are sort of the unseen people being cheated by all these illegal immigrants. The working class wages getting crushed by illegal immigrants. You can look really, you don't have to be an economist to know that for wages to rise, illegal immigration needs to fall. You've already seen our labor force participation is still at the lowest it's been since about the Carter times, even with the Trump recovery. You've seen more or less flatline wages over the last 40 years. Meanwhile, the immigrant population's grown about 325%. Lots of angel moms and dads out there. I work with them. I mean, I'm going to get into some crime stats with you here in America and in the States, but you don't need to, people get out, they've served a sentence, they're lawfully arrested, they've been deported a number of times, they get out, and then in a sanctuary county, they will not honor that ICE detainer warrant, somebody gets out, and they wind up killing, an American citizen. Okay, so running short on time. So what I want to do, this is another report we had. It was great. If you're at CPAC, Trump cited this study to show that illegal immigrants commit crimes at 2.5 to 3 times the rate of legal immigrants. Legal immigrants are pre-selected for legal behavior. So I will keep going. Costs are high. We estimate the average in 2017, $45.8 billion was spent on programs that went to illegal immigrants. Taxpayers, the illegal immigrants paid in about $15 billion. At the state level, $88 billion, and only $3.5 billion came in taxes. So the state level taxpayers are getting killed. Federal taxpayers are getting killed. And New Hampshire in that year, you had about $87 million total spent on illegal immigrants and their children, when your state spending was about $5.8 billion. So it's only about 1.5% in New Hampshire, but I think you'd love to have that and spend it on like schools, roads, public safety, and so on. But the real battle that we've got in terms of public safety, sanctuary cities. So you have to think about it in terms of the context. 1996, federal law, Bill Clinton signs this law, the IRA law, that creates the 287G ICE detainer that allows local law enforcement to honor a detainer warrant for a convicted criminal who is an illegal immigrant or someone who's been lawfully arrested, and just says, hey, hold this person for 48 hours. Well, this graphic from which we had on Fox News, you can see the growth from only 11 sanctuaries in 2000 up to now 564. It's a gross explosion. And it's getting folks killed. There's a bunch of sanctuary counties here in New Hampshire. There was an anti-sanctuary bill by Rep. Baldassaro that was unfortunately defeated, but hopefully you'll take back that house and we'll be able to get that in there. So it seems I'm short on time. So these are a lot of numbers, and we're all getting down in the weeds. But what happens? There's now 100,000 illegals streaming across the border, southern border, every month. It's going to be 1.2 million in this border asylum crisis. We've seen the crimes, we've seen the drugs, we've seen the assaults, and these are the numbers from it's gone up from 60,000 to 100,000. Well, the fake news, CNN, this is what they see, some innocent children coming across. But it's human traffickers collecting a lot of money from and then paying it to the drug lords to bring across mostly economic migrants who are grossly cheating everyone else coming from around the world. And yeah, we can try to close some of these asylum loopholes and it's going to play out in the courts, but ultimately you need to have Congress to act. And so I think we'll try, you will need, Trump has taken all the action he can take. He's trying to end catch and release at the border. He's trying to deal with these bogus asylum claims, and he's building extra capacity and getting more judges. But ultimately, Congress is going to have to act to close those immigration loopholes. So I guess I'll just come back and say, here's some things you can do to help. Text FAIR to 52886. We've got a Take Action link. I can give you this later, where you can send some letters to your congressman and so on. But really, when you look at the agenda of the far left, right, you're hearing they want to get rid of the Electoral College, expand the Supreme Court, right, raise this huge amount of taxes. Where is this all heading to, right? It's heading to places like you have in Europe, like Sweden. There was only 9 million people in Sweden. They put in 200,000 immigrants a year, and it's just crushing the welfare state, and it's kind of an electoral takeover. And we're in danger, as many have said. We've got this great liberty. We've got the legacy of liberal democracy, the representative institutions, the federalism, the states, and the individual rights. And we are in danger of having it being like the EU, unelected, unaccountable representatives making decisions for us in every aspect of life. So I encourage you to get here and fill out our activist engagement survey, because I'd like to work with all of you. Hopefully next cycle, perhaps Rep. Baldassaro or others will institute this anti-sanctuary bill, and then we'll be able to stop New Hampshire from becoming California, which it's on the way. So I'm out of time, so thank you.
Croc TV.